Welcome to the DES iRacing here in the NextGen series. We're going to be running here at Chicagoland Speedway, 135 laps. I'm going to be joined here in the booth with Mr. Hunter Davis and our broadcaster, the one and only Damon O'Brien. Hunter Davis, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great tonight, Edwin. Looking forward to this race here. Chicagoland is a really fun track. A lot of speed. We do have some pretty high temps out there, so tire attrition is going to come into play. So I expect to see some good racing out there tonight.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one. I went out there and turned some practice laps, and the car has some weird problem about the middle of the corners where it pushes up, which is going to be very bad on the right front tire. So I'm very curious to see how these guys out here manage that.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a multi-groove track here tonight. You've got the bottom line you can run to take the shortest way around the track. You've got that little almost dog leg there in the tri-oval where you can kind of cut down to shave off a few tenths. But then you got the guys that can roll the top line really well. And speaking of rolling the top line, we got the 68 here, our current points leader of Tom Ringer. Tom, how are you looking for tonight?
I'm just hoping for a good points day.
Yeah, Tom, that's a smart move when you're the one out there leading the points, especially coming off 2 wins and then close finishes in the other ones. You are starting P5 here today. Are you going to be a little weary about entering into turn 1 or turn 3 on the first couple laps?
Yeah, my plan is to stay in the top 10, hopefully. Let a lot of the stuff happens, and make my way up to the front and hopefully win this.
You know, you got your teammate, the 69 of Todd Perrant, qualified on the pole. You got your other teammate, the 4, Chuck Burley, starting behind you. What kind of strategies are you looking here tonight to secure a top 10 finish?
We're hoping to hook up and just stay together and kind of see if we can pull a draft a little bit and get out front, stay out front. But you know how that goes. Looks like Matt Tennett's running pretty good tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, Tom. I'm going to be looking forward to watching you kind of navigate the track, kind of focus on consistency. This is my last question. Low line, middle line, or top line? Where do you feel like is the best place on this track?
Always the low line.
Heck yeah, man. Love the bottom feeder attitude, man. You have a wonderful race out there. Can't wait to see you get it done.
Sounds good, guys. We'll see you later.
Good luck, Tom. That was our current points leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer, who has got 2 wins, maybe 3 wins so far into the season, right, Edwin?
Yeah, I think he has 2. He went on those 2 in a row after finishing. He finished P2 at Daytona, and then he won 2 in a row, and then he hasn't. I don't believe he's won since then, but he is a very strong contender. I think all of his finishes, except for 1, have been top 5s at least.
Yeah, you know, he's definitely shown a lot of speed out there in the recent weeks. I think that this track's going to be interesting. It's kind of the first, mile and a half that we've gotten to. It's a really high-speed track, but the only curveball in this whole thing is this track is very hot. The cars aren't going to want to stick. There's going to be tire attrition, and you're going to see it very quickly. So, if you start seeing guys that are pulling out really early in a run and not saving their stuff, they're going to definitely start losing some momentum towards the longer run. Now, we don't have any stage breaks here, so the runs basically depend on how these guys can iron things out.
Yes, sir. And they're going to really have to focus on, especially that back straight, having that little kink in it. It kind of gives you a bit of a better entry, same how entering turn 1 usually works. So, and also kind of similar to turn 2's exit is because that back stretch has a kink in it. But we're going to go down the running order here. Hunter Davis, go ahead and give me that running order, sir.
Starting in row number 1 on your pole position, the 69 of Todd Perrant, to his outside, 63 of Craig Knoll. Starting in third, 67 of Charles Connor, to his outside, the 21, Aaron Underhill. Current points leader, Tom Ringer in that 68, starting in 5th, and the 5 car, Brandon Hinton, starting in 6th. Row number 4, the 4 car of Chuck Burley, starting in 7th, 13, Tanner Honeycutt in 8th. Starting in 9th, you got the 1 car of Gary Bergeron. He's shown a lot of speed here recently, as well as the 27 of Zachary Ham. Row number 6, you got the 54 of Tyler Waltz starting in 11th. Thomas Long in that 23 starting in 12th. Row number 7 in position number 13, 99 of Christian Clark. He was outside, 36, Casey Bristow in 14th. Starting in 15th, you got the 55 of Ethan Schmidt and the 56 of Mark Holloway starting in 16th. Starting in 17th, the 6 car of Ryan Godfrey. And in 18th, the 57 of Chris Wagner. Row number 10, you got Jonathan Harrison in that 58 car. 48 of Max Dad Dinda starting in 20th. Starting in 21st, you get the 3 car of Sean Dion. Now, we do have a handful of cars that did not qualify. You got the 9 car of Tad Dabney, the 59 of Matthew Tennant, 70 of David Hickey, and the 33 of Cody Bensel to wrap off the rest of your field.
And it also looked like the 54 had a bit of an issue. For some reason, his vehicle would not move while he was on the grid, so he is going to be starting possibly from pit road.
But yeah, it looks like he is. The car may have not fired off. He may not have the keybinds to start it. So that's going to be an interesting thing for him to try to figure out.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. He's going to be hoping on an early race caution to get him grouped back up to the field as the lights on the pace car are out now. And the 69, who is also a strong contender in that Memorial Day kind of paint scheme right there, he's going to be starting in P1. He's going to hope to get a good fire off here.
As we head into turn number 3, the 69 of Todd Perrott leading the inside, 63 of Craig Knoll to his outside. Let's see how good of a jump these guys can get.
Really cool to see Craig Knoll up here in the front. Normally he's a mid-pack qualifier, but he does run towards the top 10, top 5 all the time. So this is going to be interesting. Charles Connor also in that 67 in P3. So guys to keep an eye on.
The pace car's off into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Looks like both 69 gets a big jump there on the inside, about a 2-car length gap there over the outside.
Looked like 63 had a tiny bit of wheel spin, but that's okay. He's rebound perfectly. He's going to run that middle line and try and maintain his position and hold off that 21.
Looks like we were looking at going 3 wide there in the middle of the pack. Looks like we got it ironed out to 2 lanes. We're going to start seeing these guys separate out, choosing which lane they want to run.
You got Brandon Hinton on the outside of Chuck Burley. Those cars all back there side by side, but the good benefit Brandon Hinton has right now is he's got his teammate of Tanner Honeycutt behind him, so he knows he's going to cut him a break a little bit if he doesn't get into the corner properly. But now he's battling Jerry Bergeron right now.
99 of Christian Clark tags the wall there in turn number 2. These guys are trying to get ironed out, trying to get single file so we can start making 1-by-1 passes.
Looks like the 27 is Zachary Hammy also hit the wall right in front of the 99, but they're squaring themselves out. They're getting it figured out. They're getting to turn in some laps now.
As our front 4 have now single filed out, looks like the 63 is going to go to the inside to look to make the pass on the 21 of Aaron Underhill.
As of right now, I think they're pretty good. We're not going to have an early race caution, but the thing that could bring out one is the fact of the cars do push up in the corner. So if you're that down low car and you can't hold it down, there is a chance you could push up into that car in front of you.
Yeah, you'll start seeing that as the run goes on. And the car to the wall, the 67, looks like he's able to recuperate it back down the track. Going to lose a little bit of momentum.
Bet he's hoping he doesn't have wheel damage. If he does have wheel damage, he's still responding right as he goes on the inside of Tom Ringer. He's looking to get his P2 position back.
Looking here at a replay of the 67 and the 68 battling into turn number 1. A little bit of contact there. 67 up into the wall. Looks like the 68 will end up clearing. Hopefully minimal damage for that 67 car.
already looks like they're kind of getting into tough fights. I think they know that this track is as slick as it is, and they want to make sure they get into position to where they don't have to worry about much. They can get set into their own spot and then focus on tire management.
Yeah, so we heard Tom Ringer say in that pre-race interview that he wants to get up there with his teammates. He wants to kind of get a little 1, 2, 3 action. As of right now, you got Rat Fink 1, 2, and 6. Let's see if that 4 car Chuck Burley can start making his way up there with him.
Looks like that 4 car is actually probably under threat from Brandon Hinton right now. Brandon Hinton's kind of peering to the inside of him, but he just doesn't have the momentum quite yet, and those are 2 of the nicest guys on track. So if he feels he's there, he's definitely going to give him space because they don't want to ruin their race early on. I mean, we're on lap 7 out of 135.
Looking at these guys here still battling it out. Looks like our front runners have pretty much single filed out. You got a little bit of battle going on back there. The 5 car of Brandon Hinton is looking to the outside of the 67. 67 is going to shut the door there on entry, and the 5 is going to go down onto the dogleg.
The 5's really going to have to find some kind of slot. This is a 1.5 mile track, and usually those tracks are very good about letting you have more space and everything. But I'm kind of noticing something from these guys. They're kind of having to pick where they're going and kind of just commit to it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's definitely putting a hindrance on them.
Yeah, we still got a lot of battling going out here through the field, and it's interesting to see, the different lines that these guys take. You'll have some guys, as the 5 finally gets to the outside of the 67, let's see if he's able to get the run here. You'll finally get these guys that'll spread out and run different lines. So, yeah, I mean, you see the guys that are really quick on the top. The top's definitely going to burn your tires up a lot quicker than the bottom is, but it's definitely got more speed. So, it's kind of a give-and-take situation.
And I'm kind of noticing even with the bottom line, you've got kind of like 2 grooves in that bottom line as well, kind of leaning on what you were saying a little bit more, is you got guys running that higher bottom line, and then you got guys running that lower bottom line. They're hugging that white line, but then there's other guys who are riding that seam, and they're trying to get that little bit of momentum. But I feel like that burns up tires more. What do you think?
I mean, you can kind of do it anyway. Like, you can still save tires running different lines. You just got to be careful on when you pick up the throttle.
Looks like the 5 car is going to separate himself away from the 4 and the 67 now. He's going to try and set his sights on the number 1 car right now, who's running that high line right now. He's trying to get at Aaron Underhill right now.
Yeah, we've talked about that 1 car of Gary Bergeron quite a bit. He's shown a lot of speed in this next-gen series in the recent races. So it's good to see him up there currently running in the 4th place position, chasing down the 21 of Aaron Underhill.
So Tyler Waltz, he had that issue and he had to start from the pits. He's already gained 2 positions, and one of the positions is a guy that was very fast in practice, Matthew Tennant. He did go around him, and he is up to the P21 position right now.
Looking here at our... Go ahead.
No, I'll let you go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
So looking up here at the 68 of Tom Ringer, now under threat from the 21 car. As they enter into turn number 1, the 68 is going to go high. 21 is going to look to the inside, see if he can get a fender underneath onto the backstretch.
Yeah, we were both on the same page because that's what I was about to talk about as well. But for some reason, the 21 backs up and actually loses a position to the 1 car. I think he just had a bad exit and couldn't hold it down, so he just got out of throttle, preserve his equipment, doesn't want to hit the wall or scrub the tires too much.
That just goes to show you how much momentum that high line carries onto the backstretch.
Looks like all 3 of those cars are actually going to move up to the top side, and they're going to try and chase down the 69. The 68 wants to get to his teammate. The other 2 want to get past them both. So that's the interesting situation about right now, as the 5 cars coming into the picture as well.
Our top 5 have separated themselves from the rest of the field by a little over a second gap.
And right behind them, there is a battle brewing. The 13, the 4, and the 67 are all over the track, all running different lanes, trying to fight each other. And the 13 is the one on the inside right now. 67 was running a middle line, but now the 4 car goes to the middle line, 13 car goes to the bottom, 67 up top. They're going to try and carry some kind of momentum around each other.
It looks like the 4 car is going to prevail for that lap. The 67 gets a good run there to the outside. I expect to see him side by side here on the backstretch.
With that kind of momentum, he's going to clear him, actually. He sailed it in there. Now, yes, that is a tire-burning strategy. You are going to ruin your tires doing that, but that looked amazing. He sent it in there and got past him. Now the 13 to the outside of the 4 as well.
13 is going to try to do the 2-for-1, see if he can get side by side with the 67. With the 67 there going to the bottom.
It's looking like the passing lane is the outside, while the course running when you're by yourself is the inside. So they are getting dicey.
I just want to point out our front runner there, the leader of 69, Todd Perron, had about a half a second gap over second place Tom Ringer. Tom has now chopped that lead down to 1/10 of a second. He is knocking at that rear bumper.
I think they all kind of as a group caught Todd Perron. Now, Todd Perron is one of the most consistent guys out there, and he really knows how to navigate a track. So maybe he might be playing a little bit of strategy.
As we have now split this field into multiple different groups, you got your 1 through 5th place running up there about a second in front. Then you got 6 through 11 back there in its own group, and then you got a few stragglers there behind that have split off into a 3rd group.
67 and 13 still throwing down. Both who were able to clear the 4, and they are throwing down with each other, trying to get some kind of pace or momentum and get up there to those leaders. Craig Knoll, our outside pole sitter, he started P2. He is dropping all the way back to P10, and he also has a little bit of damage towards his right front area. So maybe he got into the wall and we didn't see it, but he is definitely moving in the wrong direction as he's under threat by the 99, and this is going to knock him out of the top 10.
99 is going to look to the inside to see if the 63 can roll the outside. As they come off the corner, it looks like the 63 is going to have the momentum to clear.
Sounds like I heard some words here exchanged between the 13 and the 67. They might have brushed each other, but they have squared themselves away, and they have gotten single file. 13's back in P7 as the 67 is now secure in P6, and he is running that high line.
Looking at the 5 car of Brandon Hinton is looking to the inside of the 1 car of Gary Bergeron for that 4th place position, as they are now side by side heading into turn 1. 1 car is definitely going to carry the momentum. Let's see if the 5 can stay side by side.
While we were watching all that excitement of everything, Tom Ringer actually lost P2, and now the leader is under threat by the 21. So there's a new lead change here right now. 21, Aaron Underhill to the front.
Todd Perron's not looking to go down without a fight as he dips down onto that dog leg, see if he can carry any momentum here into turns 1 and 2.
But it looks like Aaron Underhill does the smart move, and he knows that they're trying to get momentum, so he carries the same line as them. He's going to kind of arrow block them, but also take their lane away so that he makes sure he secures this lead right now.
Aaron Underhill is now driving away from the 69 car, almost to a 0.4 of a second gap. looking at the chase cam of the 21 car, you can see the different lines that these guys run. Watch as they enter the corner. Typically, you don't see any of the two same drivers running the exact same spot. You know, you got the 69 running there about half a car length up from the bottom. 68's completely on the bottom. One's completely on the bottom, and then the 5's running that midway part again.
And I think, to be sure, Aaron Underhill is actually a free agent as well. So he's out there battling, you know, for himself and only himself. So he is putting on a good show, and he is trying to put a gap on the 69 right now.
You know, these guys have been battling it out, the 5 and the 1, and then the 21 battling the 69, and look who's caught the rear of that front pack. You got the 67 of Charles Connor, the 13 of Tanner Honeycutt, the 4 car, and the 63 all caught the rear of that field.
So to bring a little attention to the guy in the back, the 54, again, who had to start from the pits, he has now caught a group of cars, and he is trying to battle them. He's got Tad Dabney, Sean Dion, Chris Wagner, and then Mark Holloway all right there. And he is trying to get his way towards the front.
As we are now completing lap 26 on to lap 27. These guys have
got a car
pretty much
into the pits. 58 car is into the pits, and he spun in his pits. He was going to pit and spun down there.
Now, you know, talking to the guys before the race, they had roughly about a 40-lap fuel window. So a little interesting to see such an early pit stop. You know, 26 laps complete. These guys have 4 additional sets of tires. 26 might be falling a little too far off cycle.
Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to go for some kind of undercut or something, but that's drastically early. And, you know, I don't feel like he's going to get the fuel strategy he wants out of that.
As the 58 car cycles back onto the track, he will now become the one and only car 1 lap down in the 23rd position.
So you brought up that Charles Connor had caught that lead pack group. Well, apparently he brought Tanner and Chuck Burley up there with him, as they are now right on the back of the 5 car, and they are still sailing. But the 21 is checked out.
The 21 is now pulled out to a 1-second gap over the second place position, the 69 car, Todd Perrott. Let's see if he's burning up his equipment maybe a little too early, or if he's sticking to his consistency to try to save these tires and extend them for this fuel run. Five car looking to take it 3 wide. Oh, the one's going to shut the door on the 68. 5's going to look to the inside of the 1 as these guys fan out through turns 1 and 2. This pack is now very tight together. You could throw a blanket over these guys and cover them, as they are all closely battling for positions. As you watch out, almost a little bit of 3 wide action there towards the back of that pack.
That's a lot of cars to put under a blanket right there. You can even still consider the 67, 63, and the 27 right there all involved in this too. They're all right there. If something was to happen, anybody was to get loose or lose momentum, all of these guys could pounce.
27 looks like he's starting to get a little impatient there behind the 67, trying to take it 3 wide there off the exit. We got another taker on the pit road, but he misses the pit road. Looks like the 68 of Tom Ringer tried to hit the pits, couldn't get it slowed down enough, and he missed the pit entry. He's now going to lose a lot of positions and momentum to cycle back around.
That's a lot of time lost. He's even going to fall in the back of the clutches of the 6 car, as well as the 54, who are trying to get there.
As we're getting some green flag stops calling in, you got the 99 of Christian Clark. Looks like here in the replay, this is the lap right here where he was cycling in. He got slowed down, but couldn't get it down there. But we got the 99 car, the 6 car, the 9 car, all calling out that they're pitting this time.
Green flag pit stops are going to shake up a lot of things here. They're going to really have to pay pay attention. They can't have a situation like what just happened to Tom Ringer where they miss pit road.
Yeah, being that it's a hot track, Chicagoland is a difficult pit entry to hit. You go from that super high bank 3 and 4 down to the no bank apron to try to get slowed down enough to enter that pit road. It's definitely difficult. Looking here at this battle right here, 13's pushing the 1 car. You get the 5 car on the inside. These guys are all stacked up. We still have the 21 car of Aaron Underhill in the lead, now pulled out to a 2.7 second gap over second place Todd Perrott. You got the 5 car Brandon Hinton up to 3rd.
That 5 car Brandon Hinton has a whole group of people right there with him too. So he's got the 1 car, the 4, the 13, 27, and even the 63 all there on him. But he is holding them off with running that low line, which is surprising considering the outside usually carries the momentum to get around someone this close.
Yeah, as you start to see the tires wear that higher line, they're not going to be able to drive it in as deep. As the 5 goes up to block the high line, that's going to give him a little bit of room on the bottom, stack up that high line as these guys start to fan out.
New contender involved in this group too as well. You've got the 55 of Ethan Schmidt. Actually, he's a lap down, but he is right there, and he is able to get in the way, kind of upset the way that they're running.
69 just called over the radio. He is pitting this time by. That will be your second place car of Todd Perrott. You get the 54 of Tyler Waltz calling in over the radio. He's going to go in with the 69 car to get some fresh tires and fuel.
So far, we're cycling through these green flag pit stops mistake-free. The only one that we've really seen is the issue of Tom Ringer missing pit road.
Now, let's pay close attention. The 69 of Todd Perrott was about, I want to say about 2 seconds back from your leader, the 21 of Aaron Underhill. Todd is pitting. Aaron is still on the track. How much is the tire differential going to close that gap back to the leader?
This is where we get to learn that. Normally, tire distribution like this will allow somebody to catch and allow somebody to get really close to you. But we don't know for sure, like, if it's going to do anything, crazy to them right now. As we just got the call, the 9 car is serving a penalty, 13 car coming down for his green flag pit stop.
As we still have about 11 cars that are still on the lead lap that have not cycled, now down to 9 cars. The 67 of Charles Connor came over the radio. He had an unsafe pit entry that he had to serve a 40-second hold. That's definitely going to hurt. Looks like you have another couple of takers. The 8, the 13 car, the 27 car hitting pit road right now.
21 car on pit road. Our leader is now on pit road. Brandon Hinton actually stays out and continues cycling the track with Craig Knoll behind him.
I expect to see that 5 car pitting here soon. There it is. Call over the radio. 5 car pitting this time.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give them too much of a gap. He wants to maximize the 1 lap he has in clean air, hit pit road, and then maximize that lap as well, and hopefully get a lot closer to that leader.
23 car pitting this time by. And if you look at the cycles out, as of right now, Aaron Underhill is still in front of Todd Perrott, but Todd is catching him quick. Looks like he's going to have the momentum, and he's going to pull the lead away once everybody cycles through.
Major shakeup in the front. I think actually Chris Wagner and Dad Dinda are the only 2 people who have not pitted, or whoever's in the lead. Todd Perrott, he has pitted.
It's like Craig Knoll, Chris Wagner, and Max Dinda should be cycling through the pits right now. Looks like the last ones.
Chris Wagner's on pit road now. And then we also have Dad Dinda still on track. He's leading laps, but now he is going to hit pit road.
Dad Dinda, is filling in for Max Dinda, racing here in this NextGen series. So far, he's been doing really well. We've been trying to coax him into getting out here on the track with us and racing with us. But for those of you fans that are out there watching, if you are interested in getting on track with us, head on over to racedes.com. We run the ARCA series on Wednesday nights. We run the NextGens on Friday, 2 different truck leagues on Saturday, the Legacy and Premier series, and then we run the Xfinity on Sunday, and we do have a new Genesis League that is about to be starting up. That's just going to be kind of like a for fun exhibition race, throw in some different features, some road course racing, and some different things. So if you are interested in hopping out on the track with us, head on over to racedes.com, hop in the Discord to chat with us so we can see you out there on the track.
Yeah, Dad Dinah did a real good job, and I'm really curious to see when he'll get his own setup and be out here running with us, because I feel like he nerfs himself. Like, he kind of just wants to keep it clean, doesn't want to give his son a bad name or anything like that, because he is racing under his son's name. But I think if he was to be on his own equipment and racing his own way, he might be a real contender, as Aaron Underhill is a car length away from our race leader of Todd Perron.
I don't want to go too off topic here, but another one of DES's very own racers, Tyler Tomasi, is currently running the Truck Series race at Nashville. There we go. Thank you, Nashville. Sorry, I couldn't think of the track. Running at Nashville here tonight. He's currently sitting around the 28th position. So if you're watching that Truck Series race, cheer on Tyler Tomasi, one of the DEO's very own iRacers.
Yeah, Tomasi is a super nice guy as we're watching this battle for the lead. But Tomasi is he's been working very hard at this career, and he really wants to make something out of it, and he's really been trying. And from what I've seen, the way he drives out there, the way he takes care of his material, he's a deserving guy. As we have the lead change right now.
Just about to say, the 21 car looked to the inside and cleanly made the pass on the 69. 69 is going to try to go to the bottom, see if he can get a fender here under the 21 on the exit of turn 4.
Now, one thing that I see that is pretty crazy right now, we're 46 laps into this race, 0 cautions. That is the attention to detail these guys are having right now. They're trying to make it to the end. They know they can't win it on lap 1 or 20 or 30. So they are really paying attention to what they're doing.
Now, based off when our green flag stop cycled at around lap 35, these guys have about a 40-lap fuel window. So we're looking at lap 75 to probably 82 is going to be our pit window for the next green flag stops, as long as we make it green right there. Now, if they do make it to their next strategy, every single person will have a minimum of 2 more stops to complete this race.
Yeah, and the first car we'll see on pit road will probably be that 58. Because remember, he tried to undercut, but now he's sitting a lap down, first car lap down, actually. But he is getting attacked by Dad Dinda. Dad Dinda sails in on his inside to become the first car lap down.
Looking at that 68 car of Tom Ringer, who did have that incident, remember, entering pit road, is now back up to the 5th place position, right behind his teammate, the 4 car of Chuck Burley. We're going to look at a replay of what just happened with the 68 car. Not for sure what happened there.
Oh, for some reason, the 28 just darted to the apron. I guess he didn't see a car right behind him, but Tom Ringer was able to get out of that unscathed. But that was a caution waiting to happen.
Yeah, we do emphasize to these guys, make sure you're using your radios if you plan on hitting the pits, just to allow incidents like this not to happen. You know, the 68 was trying to follow him there into the corner. He was going onto the apron to enter the pits. Thankfully, you know, for the situational awareness of that 68 car, we stay green flag racing.
Yeah, the 58 car was the first car to hit pit road, but we also have our first DNF as well. Ethan Schmidt has clocked out of this race, and so did Jonathan Harrison. So we've got 2 DNFs already. So you said the 67 had a penalty because he's now in P20 battling Mark Holloway, actually, and he is going to lose that battle. Mark Holloway's in P13, he's in P20, but he was kind of riding near him.
I know on the top left corner of your screen it does show that we are under yellow, but do not be alarmed. We are still green flag racing out here.
Brandon Hinton, after all that fight and even leading a lap, has dropped all the way back to P7, but he is lurking on the 13. His teammate, he's looking to get around him.
"13 was going to move out of the way for the 5 car, knowing that he has more speed, and the 5 car says, nope, we're going to race it out. So look to see these guys start battling it out for position coming up here soon.
That's how I like teams to be, you know, don't cater so much, you know, race your race. We're all racers here. Race it up. And I love that. That's great. So let's see what they can turn into. Is they're actually catching Tom Ringer as well. You see Tom Ringer right there in front of them. He's getting a bit of a lower exit. So he might be on a fuel save strategy right now as he's nursing that thing around.
Yeah, looking at our teams out here, we've got a lot of teams that are grouped up. You got, you know, the free agents, the 21 sitting in first and the 1 car sitting in third. And then you got Ratfink 2, 4, 5. You got TRN 6, 7, and 8. You've got some beer run racers up there with that, just looking outside of the top 10.
Yeah, I believe Casey's a beer run, and so is Ryan Godfrey, Craig Knoll, another free agent. I know people are trying to get him on the team, but Tom Ringer actually loses positions to both those TRN drivers. I think he's definitely fuel saving out here right now. I love the shakeup of teams, though, that we have going on right now.
Now, he may have cooked his tires a little bit when he had to dive there to the outside to avoid the car going down onto the apron. So he may be trying to cool the tires back down a little bit to extend this run.
Well, hitting that middle line like that and how he dived in there, that might not be the best option. But then again, Tom Ringer's a guy who's beat me numerous times, more times than I could even count. So maybe I shouldn't have an opinion on how he drives.
Looking here at our leader, the 21 car of Aaron Underhill has pulled out to almost a 2-second gap over our second place pole sitter 69 of Todd Perrant.
And Todd Perrant is definitely kind of nursing that thing. He's looking for a good race finish right now. Tom Ringer losing touch with those people. Todd Perrant is currently the highest running Ratfink racer. Normally, when we come to tracks, we've got those guys kind of, you know, setting the pace for 90% of the race. And right now, they are kind of just, they're in there in the mid-pack of the top 10, which is a little unusual. That should show how hard this track is, though, for you.
As we are now closing out lap 58, we are less than 20 laps. Just starting to see these green flag stops start to cycle again.
But who do you think is fuel saving right now? Yes, you lose a lot of positions on the cycle, but that could set you up for the end game where you have the fuel. As Tag Dabney's battling the 57 right now of Chris Wagner. They're getting pretty tight. Even though Chris Wagner's a lap ahead of him, they're getting very dicey out there.
Now, to answer your question, I don't think anybody is fuel saving right now. Right now, I mean, yeah, you're trying to conserve tires a little bit, but fuel is not really a concern when you still have 2 more stops remaining to the end of this race. So if they were to stay out to try to conserve fuel, their tires are going to be so old that they're going to lose position, lose track time to the rest of the drivers out there that are on fresher tires.
But you know, what if that offsets you? You know, what if that makes it to where you can go potentially one more stop? Do you think that's a possibility, Hunter?
No, not with a 40 lap window. You wouldn't be able to extend that. These guys would have to make it to lap 95, and that would give them just enough fuel to finish the race to exclude if there were any green-white checkers. So I don't think anybody's going to be able to extend it that extra 15 laps to extend their down to 1 stop.
Hey, you know, I have to agree with you. I just wanted to present the question. It's definitely going to be a tight fit, as you know. You've got Aaron Underhill; he's catching those guys of Tad Dabney and Chris Wagner, but at the same time, that's kind of a touchy situation you want to get in there. You got an aggressive guy driving the car the way he wants to. He wants to make sure he's learning every. Oh, he gets into the wall. 21 car into the wall for a second. How many times do you think you can get into the wall before it causes an issue?
Looks on it. It looks like he's still good, but contact there again hard to the right front of that car. He's definitely starting to notice a little bit of a tire attrition. He does have a 3-second gap over the 69 of Todd Perrott, so I don't think now is the time to start pushing and damaging that car. You know, he's got a little bit of a gap. He's got a buffer as he's into the wall again there on the backstretch.
You know, eventually, when you hit the wall like that, you keep bouncing off of that, eventually you get that right front damage. You hurt the toe links, you hurt the suspension, you knock the toe out, and stuff like that. So he's done it 3 times. He could be potentially creeping up on that time where he has that damage.
He's still pulling away from that second place car, the 69 of Todd Perrott, up to was a 3.3 second gap, now down to a 2.9 and growing.
As he got the wall in the middle of the corner there, I think he's wanting to dispatch these lap cars as soon as possible. And now he's running the high line, which is, again, is going to burn tires. That's going to cause you issues right there.
Yeah, one thing with these next-gen cars is they're very aerodynamic required, right? So, like, when you have another car in front of you, it's going to be very difficult. That car's just going to get tight in the center of a corner due to the air off the car in front of you.
They're fighting. He's fighting hard out there to try and have some kind of leverage on them.
He now gets to the rear bumper of that 9 car of Tad Dabney. Tad is not looking to go a lap down as he's going to throw it up there. 21's going to dive to the inside. They're going to be side by side as we head into turn number 1. Ooh, 9 car hard into the wall. The 21 is definitely going to be able to clear. 9's looking to get a run there on the high side.
Lot of interesting things going on out here. These guys are racing very hard. I mean, they're trying to maintain their gaps. You never want your gap to dissipate. So they're definitely trying to keep their lap up. Yes, these guys in front of him are laps down, but getting rid of them, stopping them from aero blocking you is going to be your best friend as the 6 car comes off pit road, Ryan Godfrey. 9 car into the wall again.
Yeah, we do have some good battles going out here throughout the field. One thing that's interesting, right, is since the green flag dropped at the start of this race, these guys have slowly started to spread out. I think this is going to benefit them in terms of long runs. So now if you have the good long run speed, I look to see those guys start making their way to the front as we start to cycle here through stops again.
57 looks like he just scrubbed that wall a little bit right in front of the 21. 21, that's not something he wants to see. Aaron Underhill does not want to see people having issues right in front of him because there's always the risk of them spinning out and him not being able to avoid it as he gets closer and closer to that 57.
And it looks like green flag stops are starting to cycle. The 3-car of Sean Dion is now going to hit pit road for his stop.
21's going to clear to 57, and yeah, green flag pit stop should be kicking off now soon. They really got to start thinking about it. 3 cars definitely in, and we've got nobody else on pit road. We've already seen, though, Tom Ringer actually pitted 2 laps ago, and we missed that. But we also have a couple cars that have gone down pit road, too, to make things better, like Ryan Godfrey in the 6 car. He definitely went down pit road. He's got 3 laps out there. And then the 28, who DNF, was also on pit road. Look at the speed difference.
Oh, yeah. Once those tires start to wear, you're going to see a massive speed difference. But I was just going to say, we are now down to 11 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, Aaron and Todd Perron have been doing a great job of cycling through these lap cars because there are 2 race leaders that we've had. They've done a great job of dispatching them to where they don't hurt their race right now. As Craig Nolan 63 goes down pit road.
Yeah, you got the 99 of Christian Clark also taking 4 tires and fuel. He's going to cycle off here. Let's see if there's any other takers. Looking back at positions 3 through 6, 13 car of Tanner Honeycutt and the 5 of Brandon Hinton still battling it out. These guys are all battling for position back here.
Yeah, they're putting up an interesting fight out here, man. Aaron Underhill, 21, calling out, going to pit road. He hits pit road, and he's in.
9 car on fresh tires goes 3 wide with the 13 car, and it looks like the 99 of Christian Clark to secure that position. One thing I would be concerned with is that these guys may have short-stopped it a little too much.
Interesting development. 21 hits pit road and disconnects. He might have had an issue or something go on, or maybe he needed to get away for an emergency or something, but the 21, our race leader, out of this race.
That'll put the 69 car of Todd Perrott back in the lead.
'69 calling out. He's going to hit pit road now. He's going to go down that long pit stretch here.
All the Rat Fink drivers have now cycled through their green flag stops. That puts TRN up there in the top 3. Let's see if they start to cycle through next.
Yes, 5 car takes over the race lead again. Our TRN driver here, our main driver in the NextGen series, but now he's calling out. He's going to pit road.
'67 hitting pit road, calling out to the pits.
Looks like the 36 of Casey Bistro, Beer Run Racing driver. He's going to be taking over the lead now. Let's see how much fuel he has and how long he can stay on track.
Sorry to correct you. Casey Bristow is a Bayou Boys racer.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. Bayou Boys, great team. They definitely deserve their shout out when they need it, when they get it.
Now, remember the 68 car of Tom Ringer did shortstop that last time. He is currently on the lead lap. I expect to see him cycle to the lead once these green flag stops finish through and everybody pits. But I'm curious to see how long his tires are going to hold out for the rest of the field catches him.
Yeah, and with that short stop, that cuts his fuel strategy just a little bit. So he's gonna have to pit again before these guys for that next cycle through, which will happen around lap 100, 110-ish.
Yeah, we've seen these strategies kind of play out. We saw it a couple weeks ago there at Auto Club, trying to short stop some different strategies to play the tire attrition game and how long it's going to take other cars there to catch the older tires. We just got word in the top 3 currently have 38 laps on their tires. I expect them to come down here within the next 2 laps, and it looks like that'll cycle Tom Ringer back to the lead.
Yeah, I bet he's excited for that. He wants to have his timeout leading right now. As the 54 is calling out, he's going to pit road. And again, remember, this guy started from the pits and has worked his way up tooth and nail. Maybe this long time on tires might have hurt him, but I think it's gained him an advantage because he's going to have fresher tires than a lot of these guys. Some of them, he's going to have 10 plus laps on them on tires.
As we now have 79 laps in the books, not a single yellow flag to be seen thus far.
Leader's hitting pit road. Leader's got to go down and hit pit road. So we're going to see the cycle through now as while he's pitting, 13 unlaps himself and goes around. 27 as well goes around him. And now we cycle through to our Thomas Long, who's in P2 right now, I believe. He's going to probably cycle through to the lead.
36 car of Casey Bristow on pit road. The 23, your new race leader, Thomas Long, is going to stay out, try to ride it out another lap in hopes for a yellow flag.
Now that's some driving. He is running that car right now. He is definitely holding on strong. He is gone 40 laps, so he is hitting pit road now. Looks like 40 is the cap. So that means Chris Wagner will probably be hitting pit road as well, but Tom Ringer is down 15 laps on these guys now.
So, doing the math on that, he can go about another 25 laps here on this fuel window. So that's going to put him at lap 105 before that green flag stop cycle. The guys that are just pitting now can go to about lap 120. So that's going to be an interesting development to see how this plays out towards the end of the race. Let's see how long it takes those fresher tires to catch our leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer.
Yeah, Tom Ringer takes over the lead, but those are very old tires. I mean, the guy in P2, Chris Wagner, he's got 40, but then when Chris Wagner hits pit road, as he does now, you've got Todd Perrant with 7 laps on his tires right now.
And it looks like Tom is holding a pretty steady lead, right around 2 seconds to 2.3 over the second place, his teammate, the 69 of Todd Perrant. And look who's in P3, their other teammate, the 4-car of Chuck Burley.
Looks like their plan actually played out. They're smart guys. They've got all 3 in the top 5, in the top 3 right now. They are 1, 2, 3 right now, so they're trying to make the best of their situation.
69 of Todd Perrant is definitely not letting up. He is now down to a 1.4 second gap over his teammate, 68 of Tom Ringer.
The thing is though, Tom Ringer has 18 laps since his last pit stop. Todd Perrant 9, Chuck Burley 10. So regardless of anything, Tom Ringer will be on pit road before they are. Let's see if we can have a nice crank it up moment here. Let's get some audio of those cars going around, especially Tom Ringer and those Rat Fink guys, since they're doing so wonderful right now. Welcome back. After that crank it up moment, we watched Todd Perrant go past his teammate of Tom Ringer. That's that change in tires. Tom Ringer had those better tires. We did call that out. So now Todd Perrant to the point, and he's pulled almost a 2-second lead already in under 3 laps. So he is moving out there.
I do like the strategy that the 68's playing because although he may have lost the lead to his teammate, he is still sitting in second place. So when they're about 15 to 25 laps from their next pit stops, it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold second place and cycle back out in the same position.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight right here, of the strategies. But they still have to have racecraft too, because keeping it clean is the most important part. You can't be bouncing off the wall. You can't be having issues as they're getting gone right now. But at the same time, they've got guys like Jerry Bergeron and Brandon Hinton lurking in the top 5 as well. If you look at Tom Ringer, who's hitting pit road. Tom Ringer on pit road. Chuck Burley caught by those 2 cars. So you might have a battle right there for P2.
Now, that's an interesting strategy. With a 40-lap fuel window, I don't think he's going to be good to the end here.
He is not. He is going to have to do some fuel saving when he comes out. But even still, he has to be as careful as possible.
Now, he may be trying something. He may be trying to short stop to extend it to another pit stop where he pits with everybody else. I'm not for sure what his strategy is here, but knowing the 68 car of Tom Ringer, he's got something planned.
Yeah, and Chuck Burley's currently under threat by Brandon Hinton and as well as Jerry Bergeron. Now, Chuck Burley has 19 laps, Brandon 17, Jerry 20. So they're all right on the same strategy right there in that group, as Todd Perrant has 19 as well. So it looks like Tom Ringer is the only one on a different strategy.
As we now have 94 laps down in the books. We have 40 laps to go. If these guys were to pit right now, they'd be good to go to the end.
We have 90, like you said, 94 in the books and have seen 0 cautions as we've got more cars hitting pit road. So this has been an absolutely amazing race for this level, as you got the 9 car on pit road now. So I'm really enjoying this one.
Yeah, this race is definitely putting these guys' endurance to the test. Running, those 40, 50, even 60 lap green flag runs can definitely be very gruesome for the endurance style. Now we are on lap 95 laps complete without a caution. These guys are out here, putting everything and leaving it all out there.
I'm taking a look at some other cars down the road. Craig Knoll, he is kind of sitting pretty right now, 27 laps on his tires, but he's got Tom Ringer right behind him, coming like a freight train right now. So Tom Ringer is gaining time on these leaders while Craig Knoll into the wall, but he is gaining time on these leaders, trying to get his way back to the front and maximizing his time.
Yeah, Tom Ringer is currently trying to race his way back to being the first car 1 lap down. Currently, he is sitting 15th. He is the 3rd car 1 lap down. So he's going to have to not only unlap himself, but drive all the way back around the field.
Now, the thing is, if he can unlap himself and then they do green flag pit stops, that's going to be a massive benefit for him. That's going to give him a nice gap. Because remember, he was P2 and still went a lap down. So imagine the gap he will get if he unlaps himself and races with these guys when they cycle through.
Looks like we got a new contender up to the 3rd place position. The 5 car of Brandon Hinton. You get the 1 car of Gary Bergeron and the 13 of Tanner Honeycutt battling it out for position number 4.
Jerry is actually kind of putting pressure on Tanner right now. He's been right with him, you know. Yes, he's got a little bit of older tires. He's about 2 lap older tires, which is not even crazy, but he's right there with Tanner, and he's trying to get back to him.
Yeah, as of right now, you know, where would you like to see yourself if you were in this race? Where would be your ideal position?
I'd like to see myself where Tom is, because these guys are going to have to cycle through, and he's going to have the gap to spare himself. I'd like to be where Tom is. It's going to be hard. It's definitely the harder road, but I'd like to be where he is. What about you?
I mean, the only thing I would say against that is I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to make it to the end. I think he's going to have to pit one more time. I mean, right now, you know, it's hard to go against the 69 car of Todd Perront. A 3.5-second gap as we now have green flag stops starting to cycle for the rest. You get the 13 and the 27 hitting pit road this time.
Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting shakeup. It's kind of tough to pick between those 2 guys. You know, Todd Perront has been so consistent. I think his lowest running position outside of pit stop strategy has been like P3. He's been very consistent, very methodical in everything he's doing. And I have to agree with you. That would be my very close second choice of where I would like to be, is where Todd Perront is. He is doing an amazing job out there.
One thing to pay attention to, the 69 car, Todd Perront, is now entering the backstretch. The 68 car is now in the center of corners. So those guys are not that far apart between the older and the fresher tires.
Like you said, they can go 40 laps on it. Todd Perront is only at 28 laps as the 4 car Chuck Burley hits the pit roads. So he's at 29 laps now, which means he has 11 more laps he can go. But the thing about that, all those laps, Tom Ringer is going to be catching the whole time.
Yeah, if we can take a look here at their last lap time, Todd Perront ran a 32.62. Tom Ringer ran a 32.08. So about a 0.6 of a second difference between the old tires and the fresh tires.
And, you know, 0.6 amounts to a lot, especially at this later stage. The thing that he has going for him, though, right now is Tom Ringer is a lap down. P6 and down are laps down right now. So he has that advantage that they have to gain that margin on him, as well as go a whole lap. As he's now pitting. He's now pitting to make it a 30-lap stint.
Make sure he can get it woed down and get down to pit road speed, as it looks like he does with no issues, as the 69 car is going to be hitting the pit road. 54 there into the wall a little bit, so he's going to be able to gather it and have a smooth drive here onto the front stretch.
And now with the leader hitting pit road, look how many people just came off of a lap down. So many came off of a lap down, but you've got the 36. Casey Bistro, he is now the race leader, and we already know he can go a while on his fuel save.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like he might be trying to play the attrition, as we are looking 3 wide with the 68 car. It looks like they're able to iron it out into turn number 1. This is the 3 car of Sean Dion, 56 car of Mark Holloway calling in to hit pit roads this time by.
Now, I think the 36 is going to maximize his window. I think he's going to go the full 40 laps. If he goes the full 40 laps, yes, that closes the window, but that also puts a little bit of stress on the guys behind him, because what if he can make it? What if he can figure something out and get this done? They're going to be concerned and they're going to start pushing. At least that's what I think in my mind. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's all about consistency, right? You don't want to start pushing too early because you're just going to burn off the equipment that you have. You want to try to maintain consistent. Don't try to set the fastest lap of the race here when we're playing a strategy game of tire attrition, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you on that because it really boils down to those tires and that fuel window. That pit strategy is becoming the name of the game as these guys are running hard right now. Casey is still running a P1. He was just passed by Tanner Honeycutt, who has 6 laps on his tires and went down to pit road. So he's getting passed by those guys with fresher tires now.
As the fresh tires start to roll. Now, look at the difference. Casey Bistro is probably closing in on around 30 laps or so on his tires. Tom Ringer probably about half that. Tom Ringer's maybe catching him by a few tenths, maybe 3 tenths, 4 tenths a lap. So that just shows you the difference in tire differential on this track.
And you know what is also hurting Casey is when those guys do come to pass him, he has to change his lane. He cannot maximize time when these guys are sailing by on his outside. He has to woe it up a bit more to cut to the inside to make sure he gives them a lane. So he's getting hurt on kind of 2 fronts here, you know, old tires as well as letting these guys by. So it's definitely a big war on attrition. And I know those lead lap cars, they can't see that he has that going on, but you know they're hoping that's going on.
As we are now 111 laps in the book, green flag laps in the book. We are sitting at 24 laps to go. Any of these guys that pit right now will be good to go to the end on fuel.
The only one I'm questioning if he will be good is Tom Ringer. I think he is, but he is the one that I'm questioning if he's good.
The issue with a track like Chicagoland is it's very difficult to save fuel. These are high-speed corners. So, you know, getting out of the throttle is going to drop a lot of time. Same thing if he had to shut the engine off or clutch the car in, you're going to lose a lot of time trying to save that much fuel.
And, you know, Tom Ringer is actually back in P2. He's about 15 seconds down on the leader. So if the leader was to pit now, there is a large margin of time he would lose. But he's also got to worry because Thomas Long is there in P2. And then you got Todd Perrant lurking there, right there in the cusp. He's about 4 laps behind. He's about 4 seconds behind Tom Ringer.
4 seconds and about 10 lap fresher tires. So let's see how quickly he's able to put those tires into action.
In the last strategy, we saw how well he could put that into action. He caught him in about, 5-6 laps and then put a 1.5 seconds on him. So there's definitely the possibility that Todd Perrant could get his first NextGen race win here today. He's a winner before in DES iRacing, but not in the NextGen series yet. Because the 9 cars pulling up into the 27, they're on different laps. Tad Dabney 6 laps down, but the 27 is on the lead lap. But both rocking the same paint scheme. Both of them looking gorgeous out there.
I just noticed that. I was about to mention that they were both rocking the same one. The 9 car has a looks like a custom number. The 27 has a sim stamp number. That's the only way I could tell the difference.
Oh yeah, and they're looking gorgeous out there. Snap-on's a very good tool brand. I love that they're rocking and rolling with that. They look dang good, man.
Looks like Casey Briscoe has about 35 laps on his tires. He's going to be able to make it about another 5 laps for his fuel window until he's going to be required to pit. It looks like we got a nice little battle here between the 13 car of Tanner Honeycutt and the 1 car of Gary Bergeron battling it out for the 8th place position.
It's actually interesting to see Casey. Like I said, I felt like he would be that type of person. He's going to extend it to the limit, and he's going to go the full 40 laps. But that's playing a dangerous game, because even you got guys like Tyler Waltz in P11. Last time he was on pit road was 37 laps ago. Charles Connor made it 41 laps. Those guys are laps down. But now they're going to have a full head of steam for these guys and be able to push the car as much as possible.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting strategy. So his strategy right now is trying to basically hope for the 1 yellow that's going to happen throughout this race, if we have any. Is if that yellow comes out and he's in the lead, everybody else is going to follow him down pit road for fresh tires.
And, you know, that's something that I prey on too, is because I'm bad at tire saving, is I prey on that caution happening. But we're now 118 laps into this race, 117 on lap 118. I would throw away the hopes of a caution, and I would just kind of pay attention to it. But, you know, maybe he knows something I don't. Maybe he's maximizing his situation, because they are going to pit with about 17 laps left in this race.
One thing we just missed, the 68 car of Tom Ringer hit pit road.
68 of Tom Ringer on pit road again? That's interesting of a choice, because that's going to kick him behind his teammate.
So he didn't have enough fuel to make it there to the end, so he was trying to, exactly what I said earlier, he was trying to chop that one big run into two stops to see if the fresher tires would make that big of a difference.
But this is the thing that hurt him. Yes, he's going to have the speed, but Todd Perrant, who is a lap ahead of him now, only has 14 laps on him since the last time he pitted. He's good to the end.
Looking at last lap times, Tom Ringer a 31.6 and the 69 of Todd Perrant a 31.9. 0.3 of a second to get over a lap back.
Do you think it's possible that he can get back to him? As Casey Bistro calls out, he's pitting.
To answer your question, no, I don't. I do think that it's a good strategy to play, but I don't think we're going to have enough laps remaining, as we are now 14 laps to go. It's going to be difficult to get over a lap back in 14 laps.
Yeah, that's going to put Todd Perrant at exactly... he's going to be at 29 laps since his last pit stop. He's over 10 laps good for the maximized pit strategy of 41 laps. So he is good to go. He is good to continue driving. He's just got to make sure he doesn't have any kind of issue. It doesn't look like he has anybody near him. He's about 2.3 seconds off of the car in front of him. And the next nearest car is a second and a half away from him, with Brandon Hinton.
It looks like we got a good battle back there for the 3rd place position, with the 13, the 1, and the 4. These guys have been next to each other this entire time, as the 68 goes to the inside 3 wide on those fresher tires, trying to run back down his teammate, 69 of Todd Perrant, to get his lap back.
Now that's going to help the 13 out, because that shuffles those guys away from that bottom line, which allows him to use that momentum of that high line that he was running to its max advantage. So that's going to give him a nice little gap. But now he's got to worry now, because now Tom Ringer's out of the window, and now it's only on him. He's got to defend his position from 2-3 cars now.
It looks like our 2nd place car, Brandon Hinton, is slowly running down the 69 of Todd Perrant, now down to just under 2 seconds, as we are now 11 laps to go.
And that's something Brandon Hinton's good at, is being in the right place at the right time. Because maybe he does have the momentum, as Tanner Honeycutt's going to separate from the guys because of another lap car. But Brandon Hinton's very good about being where he needs to be at the right time. But it looks like he's starting to drop back now.
That's going to be the difference that you see between guys in the corner and guys on the straightaway. It'll bounce about 3 to 4 tenths of a second, just depending upon where you're at on the track.
You think he can catch the 69?
If he's going to start catching them, now's the time to start pushing, as we are now 10 laps to go. We got a big group of cars back here together, a mixture of lap cars and lead lap cars. Looking back at the 4-car Chuck Burley, the 1-car of Gary Bergeron, the 67 Charles Connor, 3-car of Sean Dion. All these guys side by side battling it out. One person that this is helping is that 13 car of Tanner Honeycutt. Now has a 0.6 of a second gap over the 4-car of Chuck Burley. And looking at our leader, the 69 of Todd Perron, I think he found another gear in his car, as he is now up to a 3-second lead over the second place of Brandon Hinton. Tom Ringer has now caught our second place car, the 5 of Brandon Hinton. The only car remaining between him and his lap back is the leader, his teammate, the 69, Todd Perront. Looking at the 23 car of Thomas Long. Oh, we had a car dart down to pit road on lap 127. It looks like nobody called out they were hitting the pits, and he had darted back down. Right. Nope. Too far. We look. Yeah, go ahead about 3 laps here. We'll see who's out there riding. It looks like somebody wanted to enter the pit road, and he didn't call it out over the radio, so he wasn't really expecting the car to dart down in front of him. Very close call there, but good job on those guys keeping them out of each other.
Getting closer and closer to the finish of this race, as Todd Perront is still leading the way. And he's got about a 3.5-second lead. He did put some gap, but look at Tanner Honeycutt. He is putting the P3, but he is battling hard for that position. I think that's where the fight is going to be for the rest of this race.
As we are now at 5 laps to go, 130 in the books. We have 5 remaining.
Can you believe this thing went caution-free, sir? That is crazy for that. And, you know, it just shows the fortitude of these guys to pay attention to their strategy, pay attention to their tires, pay attention where cars are on the track. And they're about to, hopefully, go green to green, green to checkered.
As the 68 car, Tom Ringer is looking to get his lap back from his teammate, the 69 of Todd Perront. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to have enough time here to get all the way back around the field, as he is currently sitting in the 11th place position, the first car, 1 lap down. Now, with those cars on the outside, let's see if this opens the door for the 5 car to start getting a run up to the 69.
It's definitely a hard race out here. I don't know where the 68 can end this. If he gets his lap back, you know, who is really left for him to pass? He's got Matthew Tennant there, then his teammate Mark Holloway in front of him. Do you think he can catch him and kind of get into a better top 10? Because he's going to have a top 10 if he gets past the 59.
He's a little loose there on the outside. Looks like the 68's showing some patience. He knows his teammate is leading this race. He's trying to let his teammate secure this pass before he tries to get around his teammate. And Tom Ringer now up to 10th place, the last car on the lead lap.
I've got my eyes on this number 13 and 4 car battling for the P3 position. 4 car is there. He's about a car length and a half away from the 13th. So they're having a good fight here on the last lap as we got Todd Perrant coming through to take this race win.
He said he hasn't crossed the line yet. He was waiting for a last-minute yellow flag or something to come out. Race winner, 69 of Todd Perrant.
Absolutely amazing. Led 59 laps here today to secure that race win. Second place goes to Brandon Hinton. Third place, Tanner Honeycutt, baby. That's an absolutely amazing race. Those guys put their skill on display.
Yep.
Third place finisher, the 13 car of Tanner Honeycutt. Tanner, walk us through how that race went for you tonight.
Honestly, just got the track. Had no clue where I was going to finish. Actually qualified pretty decent and started noticing during the first run I was saving tire really well and moving up to the field. So kind of just tried to strategize with that and ended up pulling out a P3.
Yeah, Tanner, it looked like at one point with about 20 to go, you got caught by 2 cars. You got Jerry and Chuck Burley were right there. Were you a little concerned for your position?
I believe it was only a 1 lap difference on our tires. I actually, every single stint that I ran was able to catch both of them. So I knew if I was able to hold them off for at least a lap or two, I would have been able just to keep going. And Chuck almost caught me there at the end, but it's hard to do anything when your tires are that worn, though.
You know, it's rare to see a green to checkered race. 135 laps with no cautions. You know, was your strategy from the start the way that you wanted to go, or were you trying to try some different things out in hopes that we would have a few cautions along the way?
Honestly, the strategy really didn't come in till probably about the second pit stop, and we started brainstorming and seeing about when we could probably come in, when would be best. If there was a green and white checkered, if we had enough fuel, we could maybe just go in for tires and end up being first and second, me and Zach, obviously. And yeah, we ended up pitting at lap 101, gave us about 6 laps, and didn't really end up needing it. Ended up cycling through and staying ahead of them guys that I needed to.
Well, congrats on the P3 finish here today, Tanner. That was a wonderful race ran, man. Good job on that. And take that momentum into the next one.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Tanner Honeycutt, third place finisher. Let's see if we can get our second place finisher here, the 5 car of Brandon Hinton. Brandon, walk us through how that race went for you.
Pretty good. Didn't have anything for Todd. I tried to replicate what he was doing. I couldn't do it. I had to stay to the bottom, but I was just getting super tight at the end of the run. But I want to congratulate Todd and my teammate Tanner on a third place finish. What a great race, though. Caution free. I mean, everybody did a wonderful job. I hope it looked good on the broadcast because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, that was phenomenal. It's rare to see, you know, a green to checkered race. We just asked your teammate, the 13 of Tanner Honeycutt, you know, how did your strategy from the start of the race to the end of the race, how did it change? You know, normally going into the race, you think you might have a few breaks to where, like, you can take tires, you can take fuel, it'll kind of throw in a wrench into things. And this one, it was nothing. It was all simply on how you drove and how you got on and off pit road.
Correct. Yeah. You don't know if it's going to go green or not. They're fun when they do, because then you got the strategy that plays into it. And it's kind of, you know, just by the collar, you just kind of figure it out. But the first stint, I went to the very end, and that kind of burned me. So I had to catch back up the second stint, and then the third stint I followed Chuck right in, and I think he messed up on the pits. He either got too far or too back, so I was able to get that spot, and then it was just try and stay with Todd, but he had the truck tonight, or the car, sorry. He had the car tonight to beat, and congratulations to him.
Absolutely amazing, man. It was wonderful watching you stretch that fuel run as long as possible. I mean, there were times you were out there leading laps, man. That was absolutely amazing. Well done on your race today.
Thank you, bud, and again, thanks for what you guys do, and it was a fun race.
Congratulations, Brandon Hinton in that 5 car, wrapping it up in a second place finish. Now let's see if we can get our race winner in here, the 69 of Todd Perrant. Todd, that was an absolutely dominating performance. You know, you were kind of battling it out there with the 21 car there for a while. How did this race go for you tonight?
Yeah, it went good, and I don't know. I think I heard he dropped out or something. I mean, unfortunate for him because he definitely probably would have won the race. But yeah, I'm glad to take it. I did have a good car, so.
Yeah, Todd, that was absolutely amazing. You were kind of methodical in everything you were choosing to do, man. At no point did I feel like you started pushing that car harder. Were you satisfied with the race result today? Did you feel like you did everything you could? Because I think you did.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to, save tires, run hard, stay up front. Staying up front was definitely the place to be. So, and then that last pit stop, I went in good, got tires, and came out. So,
walk us through kind of what your strategy was. Was track position more important than tire attrition, or was it simply about fuel mileage? What were your key factors to putting this thing in victory lane here?
I mean, I'd say tires. They'd wear. So definitely seeing that whenever people would pit in front of you. And they'd catch you, so trying to save tires for sure.
Yeah, man, you ran a phenomenal race today, and honestly, that was a race definitely worth watching. Completely caution-free, no mistakes from anybody. You deserved that win. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I was hoping it didn't go get a caution at the end. That was my biggest worry.
Yeah, it was awesome to see a green to checkered and finally see you end up here in victory lane here. I know you've been kind of flirting on the edge with it for a while, so it's good to see you finally park that thing up here with us.
Yep, been knocking on the door. So, and hey, I got the American flag Chevy up in victory lane, so couldn't have picked a better week.
Yes, sir. Your first NextGen victory, right? It's your very first one. I think I said it,
Yep.
but I want to make sure it was.
Yeah, first NextGen. Yep.
Your race winner, the 69 of Todd Perrant, with an absolute dominant performance there at the end, able to wrap it up. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this broadcast. 135 laps completed here at Chicagoland Speedway. Todd Perrant bringing home the victory, a green to checkered race. Edwin, you want to close us out here?
Yes, sir. That was an amazing race. Absolutely beautifully done. If you want to race with us here in DES iRacing, make sure you go to racedes.com and come join us for the Next Gens on Friday. Legacy trucks and Premier trucks on Saturday and Xfinity on Sundays. Appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you, Damon O'Brien, for your broadcasting. Thank you, Hunter Davis, for helping me broadcast this and kind of being the main man of the show. So we'll see you next time. See ya.